the tragedy of Pastor Elias and his family in Syria. Before the war, Pastor Elias was known across Aleppo for his modesty and unwavering compassion. His church, the Church of Living Grace, was small but vibrant. It served not only Christians, but also offered food and aid to displaced Muslims, Kurds, and Armenians during the early days of the Syrian civil unrest. Elias and his wife Miriam raised 3 children: Sami, age 16, Lena, 13, and little Daoud, just 7. The family lived modestly in a 2-story home beside the church, their life centered around worship, service, and hope. When war erupted in 2011, Elias made a fateful decision. He would not leave. "We are shepherds," he said. "We don't run when the wolves come. The wolves arrive." As Aleppo fractured between regime forces, rebels, ISIS, and militias, Christians became increasingly vulnerable. Churches were torched, priests were kidnapped, and whispers of conversion under threat became reality. Elias refused to stop preaching. At first, it was just threats. Graffiti sprayed on the church walls: "Infidel, convert or die." Flyers were pushed under his door, warning him to stop preaching Western lies. Then came masked men after midnight, banging on his door, demanding he close the church. Still, Elias persisted. He opened his doors wider, feeding Muslims, praying with the sick, offering shelter to the homeless regardless of belief. But to extremists, that was worse than defiance. It was betrayal. The Day of Fire. In early 2015, masked militants believed to be ISIS-affiliated entered the quarter. It was not a raid, it was an execution. They stormed Pastor Elias's church during a Wednesday evening prayer service. Witnesses said Elias stood calmly at the altar as the gunmen barked in Arabic, demanding he and his family convert to Islam on the spot. He refused. So did his wife, who clutched Daoud in her arms. One by one, the congregation was dragged out. The church was doused in fuel. Elias's final words were reportedly a prayer: "Even if the world forsakes us, God remains." They were burned alive inside their church, along with 6 other members. Aftermath and silence. News of the massacre was slow to emerge. Amid the chaos of Syria's war, atrocities like this were swallowed by larger headlines. A few Christian watchdog groups mentioned Elias's death, but no major media outlet picked it up. His ashes became part of the rubble of Aleppo, forgotten, silent. Surviving members of the congregation buried the remains in secret. The family's home was looted, then demolished in a later airstrike. All physical traces of their life vanished. What remains is their story, passed quietly among displaced Syrian Christians now scattered across Lebanon, Jordan, and Europe, a symbol of the forgotten pastor. Elias's story is tragically not unique. In Syria, over 100,000 Christians have fled since the war began. Hundreds of churches have been damaged or destroyed. Priests, nuns, and families have been kidnapped, tortured, or killed by radical groups who see religious plurality as a threat to their ideology. Yet amidst this horror, families like the Haddads stood firm, not as warriors, but as witnesses. Their resilience echoes in refugee camps and whispered prayers in darkened shelters. Their faith was not political, it was personal, and it was enough to make them targets in a world fractured by hate. Legacy of the martyrs today: in a refugee church in Beirut, a small cross carved from Aleppo marble sits on a modest altar. Beneath it, a plaque reads, "In memory of Pastor Elias and the Haddad family, faithful unto death." Every week, Syrian Christians gather there, not in fear, but in remembrance. They sing hymns in broken Arabic, light candles, and tell the story of Elias, Miriam, Sami, Lena, and Daoud, not as victims, but as martyrs. Because even in war, truth endures. And though their home was destroyed, their faith became unshakable, etched into the soul of a people still standing.